Bum, 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 bum. Bum, bum. Hey, everybody, come on in. Come on in. Can you smell the coffee brewing? I think you can. Yeah, we're so accustomed to having the simultaneous sip that you can almost taste it minutes before it happens. It is so good. And what do you do to enjoy the simultaneous sip? Well, you don't just sit there. No, you don't just watch it happen. No, that would be wrong. You join in. It's called the simultaneous sip, and all you need is a cup or mug or a glass, a tank or chalice or stein, a canteen, jar or flask, a vessel of any kind. Fill it with your favorite liquid. I like coffee. Join me now for the unparalleled pleasure, the dopamine hit of the day, the thing that makes everything better. It's called the simultaneous sip. Are you ready? Are you ready for this? You better be ready. Go. Yeah, now if you enjoyed that live, you know what the feeling is, don't you? Yeah, you do. Savor it. Savor it. Okay, now we can move on. Gotta stop and smell the coffee. That's just good advice. Meanwhile, Jake Tapper did a what would you call it, monologue or something about how there's been no real accountability for several prominent GOP leaders after the Capitol riot. Now, I don't know what has happened to Jake Tapper, but I just don't know what's happened to him. He looks like something's happened in his personal life or something, because his demeanor on camera when he's talking about the Republicans and the need for accountability, it just feels demented and revengey and broken in some way. He doesn't look like he's calling for justice. He looks like he has a personal mental problem of some sort. Now, I'm not saying he has a mental problem, because how would I know what's happening in anybody's head? I'm telling you, the way it comes across is not like opinion. It comes across as a mental problem. That's how I read it. Now, again, I'm not saying he has a mental problem. I'm saying that I perceive it that way. That's just the way it looks. It looks like he has some kind of a mental issue or emotional problem. But when he talks about the no real accountability for several prominent leaders, here's what I hear. I hear him looking to punish anybody who had a different opinion on this and extend that, by extension, he didn't say this directly, but by extension, you would think that he would apply this to Trump supporters, including people like me. Now, he didn't say that, so that's not something Jake Tapper says directly, but that's the message I hear. That's what I hear when he talks about it. But here's the interesting part. In order for Jake Tapper to maintain his righteous indignation, he has to assume that this election was fair and free. And that's making you think past the sale. Because to the best of my knowledge, nobody could determine, given the lack of transparency of this election, and probably all of our elections, there is no way to know that it was fair and free. There's only a way to know that it has not been proven in any court that there was widespread fraud. So those things can both be true at the same time. We don't know if it was fair and free, but we do know for sure it hasn't been proven that it was fraudulent in any widespread way in a court. Now, we also know that courts are the wrong tool for doing that, because they reject the cases on different grounds than the fraud. So that's our situation. But for people like Jake Tapper to illegitimately claim that it would be, or at least the implication of making you think past the sale, is that we know for sure that the election was perfectly good. And we don't know that. We only know that there's no proof it was bad, which is quite different. And when I see him, gaslighting the public like this and calling for essentially revenge against a class of citizens, this is the worst fucking thing I've ever seen. Did I warn you that there would be a little extra cursing today? We're getting to the extra cursing portion of the program. So this would be the part where you maybe want to take the kids away. Jake Tapper has turned into a horrible, horrible person. And the way I read this is an attack on part of the public, the viewing public. Now, I am perfectly okay with Democrats mocking Trump supporters for, being on the losing side of the election. I mean, the Trump supporters did the same to Hillary supporters. That's just all part of the process. But Jake Tapper, with all seriousness, talking about the real accountability of prominent GOP leaders. Accountability for what exactly? Because he's calling this fucking takeover of a Viking horn guy and another guy with some twist ties, occupying some empty rooms in the Capitol building. He's calling that an insurrection or a coup. What do you think the people who did that wanted? Jake Tapper and CNN. What do you think they were asking for? Were any of them asking for an illegitimate government to be installed? No. Every one of those fucking people wanted the Constitution to be followed and the election to be fair. Did any of them say, we would like a different president even though the election, we believe, was fair? No. What were they asking for? A change in who was the president based on non-constitutional methods? No. They were asking for constitutional processes. They were protesting too aggressively. They need to pay for any too aggressive actions. The legal system still has to do what it does. But for people like Jake Tapper to sell this fucking thing as a coup when it wasn't, it was an attempt to make sure a coup had not happened in this country. And people like Jake Tapper are selling the fucking coup, meaning, at least the allegation that the election was not appropriate. So branding these Democrats, branding the GOP leaders who were asking for a little extra time for a audit. And by the way, they didn't ask for anything to be delayed. Ted Cruz was simply asking to use the time we have to do a little auditing. That's it. That simple request, fair and reasonable, has been turned into they're a bunch of insurrectionist, treasonist people who need to be punished forever, and so do you if you support them. You fucking piece of shit, Jake Tapper. You fucking piece of shit. I hope you see this. I'm sure somebody will send it to you. Jake, I used to like you, but you've turned into a very bad person. As a human being, you should have something to think about. You've gone way beyond telling the news, and you've gone way beyond having an opinion on the news that I don't agree with. You've gone into fucking evil. You are painting your fellow citizens with lies and fake fucking news, from the fine people hoax to the drinking bleach fucking hoax, in your whole fucking illegitimate fake news organization. And now you've made it fucking personal. It's personal now, fucking Jake Tapper. This is personal. You fucking asshole. You've made it personal. Because I'll tell you, the way people listening to you are going to take it is not, I don't know what way you mean it, but if you're talking about generating violence in this country by your speech, you're doing it now, fucking Jake Tapper. You are causing some real fucking problems. All right? These are real problems. You're causing them with your way of talking. What you could have done to help the country heal would be something along the lines of, hey, I know a lot of people had questions with the election, but it'd be better if we moved on now, try to fix them next time. Maybe, Jake Tapper, you could be talking about what the country is doing to fix the election for the next fucking time. Jake Tapper, do you have anything to say about that? Do you have anything to say about the fact that you're not reporting on anything being done to fix the election for next fucking time? How about that being the most important thing in the country, and you don't even fucking mention it? Because you're still on revenge. You're still on getting back at these fucking Republicans. You small fucking piece of shit. Do something good for the country. Do something good for the country. Join me now for the unparalleled pleasure, the dopamine hit of the day thing that makes everything better. It's called the Simultaneous Sip. Go.